Hey guys, alright? Welcome everyone. One night, an old man named Clyde is running in the forest, being pursued by some kind of creature. As Clyde looks at a map to confirm if he's in the right place, he is cornered, not by the unknown creature but by another hooded man who points a gun at him. The man orders Clyde to hand over the map, but he just tosses it into the entrance of a cave behind him. Only then does the unknown creature finally catch up to them, and the man shoots Clyde before facing the creature. However, his bullets do nothing against it, and he simply flees. After a few weeks, a man named Nick, Clyde's grandson, goes to his grandfather's hometown and the farm that was his to see his younger brother Tristan, who arrived there a few days earlier. Tristan received a letter from their grandfather written a month before his death. While Nick reads the letter, they discover that Clyde wants to give his land to the local Aboriginal tribe. Clyde states in the letter that he's leaving the final decision to Tristan, believing he will know the right thing to do. In the meantime, he wants Nick to keep an eye on his brother and the tribe, trusting that he can be a good guide for all of them. After reading the letter, Tristan reveals to Nick that a local developer offered him a significant amount of money to buy the land, and he wants Nick's opinion on the matter. Nick, however, tells him that their grandfather entrusted him with the land, so it's up to him to decide. Tristan is somewhat disappointed not to receive any advice from his brother and leaves Nick. He goes out to bury a dead kangaroo he found earlier in the yard. Nick follows him and apologizes, saying he just doesn't want to tell his brother what to do. Sometime later, the leader of the local tribe named Garvey visits the two brothers and discusses the land. Nick leaves Tristan with Garvey to give them privacy. As it turns out, it was Garvey who sent the letter to Tristan after Clyde's sudden death. Garvey hopes that Tristan will honor Clyde's wish and keep the land, but Tristan shows his willingness to sell it and offers Garvey a cash payment instead. The local tribe leader tries to persuade Tristan to think differently, saying that the land has been with them from the beginning, and he can't just take it away from them. He then gives Tristan his contact information and says he trusts him to make the right decision. Later that night, the two brothers are talking when their dog becomes frightened, and they hear a terrifying roar from the forest, along with the sound of falling trees. They quickly decide to go inside the house and call their dog to come in. However, in the early hours of the morning, they are awakened from their sleep by a strange noise that seems to be coming from inside the house. Armed with a cricket bat, Nick and Tristan check where the noise is coming from, not realizing a shadow passing behind them as they walk. In the end, they find nothing but an open window. Nervous, Tristan decides to sleep in his brother's room. When morning comes, Nick and Tristan see scratch marks outside their balcony. At this moment, they hear a car honking, and Tristan realizes it's his friend's van. He approaches them when his friend BJ gets out of the van, asking them what they are doing here. BJ claims that he was the one who called and invited them to the place, however, Tristan doesn't remember that. BJ's other friends Rebecca, Jason, Kate, and Anya, who is Nick's ex-girlfriend, are with him. As they enter the house, the group of friends, except for Anya, greet Nick. Later, in the early evening, the group of friends is sitting around a table, talking and drinking. They play a card-passing game with their mouths, and Rebecca deliberately drops hers to kiss Tristan. At that moment, the two apologize to their friends, as they're going to share a private moment. BJ tells Anya to prepare the van, so it will be ready for the two of them to sleep in when they get there. Anya is uncomfortable with this, but she does it anyway. When she leaves, Jason comments on how easy it is for BJ to give orders to her, and the man takes pride in it. Shortly after, they hear the same strange roar that Tristan and Nick heard the day before. BJ orders Jason to check, forcing him to take a look in the forest. Meanwhile, Nick sees Anya setting up the mattress and pillows in the van. As he approaches her, they chat, and he says he's happy for her and BJ. Suddenly, their conversation is interrupted when they hear Jason yelling from the forest. They quickly run back to the group and find Kate, Jason's girlfriend, kissing BJ. While Nick checks the forest, Anya goes straight to Tristan and Rebecca to inform them about Jason, appearing as if she's already used to BJ's infidelity. Soon they find Jason, and fortunately, nothing bad has happened to him, he's just vomiting due to alcohol. But when Nick helps him to get up, he sees a pair of bright red eyes looking at them from a distance among the trees. Because of this, he quickly helps Jason to his feet, and they immediately run back to the house. As they return, BJ laughs at Jason, thinking he's just being clumsy and cowardly in the forest. Due to what happened, they decide to end the party there and rest. Nick also reminds BJ and Anya not to stay in their van that night. Although Anya agrees to sleep in the house, BJ ignores Nick's warning and still chooses to rest in his van. The next day, Nick is in his grandfather's study room, examining his belongings. He finds a newspaper clipping with an article about his grandmother's death. This piques his interest, leading him to look further into Clyde's possessions, where he finds a map similar to the one his grandfather was protecting on the night he died. Due to his discoveries, Nick plans to go to the town with internet access to research the incident involving his grandparents. Meanwhile, Tristan shares a sweet moment with Rebecca and says he will cook for her. Then, he and Anya head to town. Just in time, they find Nick getting ready to leave and decide to go together in the car. Upon arriving in town, Nick goes to a cafe while Tristan and Anya go to the supermarket. Nick starts researching cryptozoology and finds an article about his grandfather's discoveries, leaving him confused and concerned. It's revealed that Clyde was a cryptozoologist researching mythical creatures. Meanwhile, in the supermarket, Tristan and Anya discuss Nick, and both feel guilty that he always chooses himself and his career over other people. Back at home, Rebecca informs the friends that she's going for a swim in a nearby river. BJ, upon seeing her sexy body, decides to follow her. While walking through the forest, Rebecca admires the tranquility of the environment. Suddenly, she glimpses something like a creature camouflaged in a tree and stumbles over a root, but when she looks back, there's nothing there. Frightened, she runs with her injured foot and dives into the river. At that moment, BJ appears behind her and startles her. He approaches, and Rebecca realizes he's naked. She rejects him and says she'd rather be with Tristan now. Hearing this, BJ's ego is wounded, and he leaves, saying she'll come back to him, as she always does. Meanwhile, Nick, Tristan, and Anya are on their way back home when Tristan asks to stop at the local developer's office. Nick agrees to sell the land because he doesn't want Tristan to live there alone. Upon arriving, John, the real estate agent, hands them the papers to sign the contract. Nick sees a pair of night vision goggles emitting red light in John's office and recalls what happened the previous night. He also spots a copy of the map his grandfather had framed on the wall. Because of these suspicious items, Nick interrupts Tristan's conversation with John, saying they should study the contract before signing it. Confused, Tristan agrees with his brother, and they leave the office. Back at home, the brothers argue because Nick insists that John isn't who he claims to be. Nick tells Tristan what he saw in John's office and suggests that he might be responsible for the noises in the forest and the pair of red eyes he saw the previous night with Jason. However, Tristan thinks his brother is being judgmental and irrational. Nick then decides to continue his research, accompanied by Anya, while Tristan searches for Rebecca, who disappeared after swimming in the river. But we soon see that she's by the river and with different eyes, speaking some strange words to a man who was fishing nearby, causing him to scream. After a few hours of searching, they can't find Rebecca and decide to return home to get flashlights, as it's getting dark. Kate confronts BJ about what he might have done with Rebecca, but he deflects the accusation and reveals that they were together the night before. Nick and Anya, using BJ's van, return to the real estate agent John's location to investigate. The van is spotted by John, who is talking to some men. Nick hides in the back of the van while Anya tries to distract John, saying that the van has some problems and that she's just waiting for her fiancé to arrive to help her. John simply watches and Anya shows him an engagement ring. Fortunately for them, John believes that Anya and goes back to get into a car with the men. As they leave, Nick returns to his seat and laughs at her fiancé's story until he realizes that the engagement ring she showed John is the one he gave her 7 years ago. He apologizes, saying that when their stepfather left them, he had to put himself aside and start taking care of Tristan and their mother. It is revealed that Nick has been the one providing all the financial support to his family all along, not his stepfather. Since Tristan was just a child at the time, Nick didn't want him to think his stepfather was a bad guy, so he put all the money he was giving with his stepfather's name. Not knowing what to say, Anya just tells him to finish what he needs to do before John and the other men return. Meanwhile, in the forest, Tristan joins BJ, while Kate and Jason head in a different direction to cover more ground in search of Rebecca. At that moment, Jason and Kate argue about her cheating on him with BJ, when they hear something growling nearby. This is when a horrifying creature reveals itself, and upon seeing such a creature, the two of them desperately run as fast as they can. Meanwhile, Tristan and BJ finally find Rebecca, but they don't realize that something is wrong with her, especially her eyes, which have turned completely white. She hypnotizes them and tries to lure them toward the river when luckily, the pet dog appears and scares Rebecca into the river, releasing the two men from hypnosis. At that moment, they hear Jason and Kate screaming from the other side, and BJ quickly flees, while Tristan stays and grabs the flashlight, waiting for his friends to cross the river. However, only Jason manages to cross because the creature drags Kate away from them. With no other choice, Tristan and Jason run back to the house, while the creature continues to roar. Not long after, they hear a loud knock on the front door. Tristan slowly opens the door and is surprised to see his stepfather Sam back. To add to the surprise, John, who turns out not to be a real estate agent but a paramilitary, also appears with his men. Seeing how confused Tristan is, Sam talks to him privately and tells him about the bunyip. He claims that the bunyip is the creature that killed their grandparents, so he, along with John and his men, is there to kill it and protect Tristan and his friends. When Sam asks where their other friends and Nick are, Tristan says that Nick and Anya are somewhere out there, while two women have already been taken by the creature. Hearing this, Sam goes to talk to John and tells him that they only have Anya left as bait. At this moment, it is revealed that Sam and the others only want to kill the bunyip to make a lot of money from it. Therefore, Sam takes Tristan while John talks to BJ and Jason, convincing them to join the hunt in exchange for a substantial sum of money. After everyone is informed and prepared, Sam orders Tristan to call Anya so she can arrive as quickly as possible. Back at the site, Nick enters John's office and finds photographs and sketches of bones from different creatures that are certainly not normal animals. Looking closer, he also discovers a camouflage suit, which makes him certain that John was the one he saw the night before. When he leaves John's office, he sees Garvey and his tribe members waiting for him. Anya asks Nick what is really happening, and he tells her about his grandfather being a cryptozoologist and his study of bunyips, a mythical man-eating creature that lives in the waters of Australia. Then, Garvey orders Nick and Anya to follow them. Nick decides to go with them, while Anya goes back home to warn Tristan and the others about John, unaware that they've already prepared for this. Shortly after, Garvey begins to tell the story of a man named Byami, who long ago fought against the creature called Bunyip and managed to imprison it. But the creature vowed revenge against all tribes, animals, and all life on Earth. When three women decided to test the power of the Bunyip and went after its prison. When they found it, instead of killing them, the Bunyip gave them eternal life and possessed them forever. These three women later became evil spirits as well, seducing everyone to their death and allowing the Bunyip to escape from its prison through them. At this moment, history is repeating itself. The Bunyip had already captured Rebecca and Kate with its evil spell, and Anya was the only one who managed to escape before the Bunyip was released again. When she arrives at the house, she is attacked and loses consciousness. Upon waking up, she finds herself tied up and gagged. Tristan asked Sam what was going on, but BJ stopped him. Jason confronted BJ, freeing Tristan, but John fired a warning shot to calm them down. To Tristan's surprise, Sam also points the gun at him to intimidate him and make him stay quiet. After everyone is ready, the Bunyip appears, drawn by Anya, and the fight begins, with the creature flipping the car that Jason was in with another soldier. While everyone is distracted, fighting the creature, Anya seizes the opportunity to escape and reunites with Tristan. She tells him that Nick stayed with Garvey and his tribe. The creature continues to attack and knock down the men. Anya hides with Tristan under the car and sees the ferocity of the monster, so they try to escape in a car with another soldier, but the creature won't let them. BJ manages to get Jason, who is trapped under the car, and they get into another car to escape. Up ahead, they see Anya and Tristan running and tell them to jump in the bed of the truck. Tristan manages to do it, but Anya is knocked down by John while Tristan is taken by Jason and BJ. However, Anya manages to escape from John into the woods with him chasing her, but the creature finds him and kills him. Sam appears and takes Anya, while Tristan convinces BJ to go back and save their friends. They then attempt to return but are cornered by the monster chasing them. Tristan shoots at the monster, but to no effect, and they are almost caught when BJ makes a sharp turn into the woods, eluding the creature but crashing into a tree. With the crash, Jason dies and Tristan is taken, and then BJ sees Kate and Rebecca and is also caught. At this moment, Nick has returned home and found no one there. Garvey arrived to help him save Tristan and the others, luring the bunyip into the cave. Sam also reached the cave, offering Anya as bait and revealing that he planned everything to kill the bunyip for money. When the bunyip and the women arrive, Sam hides, waiting for the right moment to attack. Anya tries to wake her friends up, but without success. The bunyip begins to possess Anya, but Nick and Garvey arrive just in time. Seeing Sam hiding, Nick attacks, and the two men fight. At first, Nick struggles, but he manages to turn the tables and electrocutes Sam using his taser. Meanwhile, Garvey uses his boomerang and hits the bunyip in the eye, finally releasing Anya, Rebecca, and Kate from its spell. Nick then takes the opportunity to guide them out of the cave. However, he can't just leave, because he still needs to save Tristan. Promising Anya that he will find her later, Nick goes back into the cave to rescue Tristan. Unfortunately for BJ, the bunyip devoured him earlier. Seeing his brother return to him, Tristan apologizes when he finally realizes that it was Nick who was helping him all along, not his useless stepfather. But as they are about to leave, Sam appears and shoots Nick. Knowing that the mess won't end as long as Sam is alive, Nick confronts him. While Garvey is battling the bunyip, the evil of his land, Nick is also fighting the evil in his family, which is Sam. In the end, Nick and Garvey sacrifice themselves, trapping each other and the bunyip in that place, while the physical body of the bunyip explodes, sealing the entrance to its cave. Seeing the explosion, Tristan tries to run back to his brother, but it's already too late. Unwillingly, Tristan returns home alone. And when Anya doesn't see Nick, she knows that he sacrificed himself once again for his younger brother. The movie ends with Tristan, Rebecca, Anya, and Kate leaving the safe place, permanently scarred in their hearts.